Apa? Tak jaga.
Dia pusing-pusing.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Our webinar about to begin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning. Yang berbahagia, Associate Professor Datin Dr. Norazida Muhammad, Assistant Vice Chancellor International University Technology Mara, distinguished deans and deputy deans, distinguished members of the university top management, distinguished representative from the British Council, esteemed collaborators from the University of Nottingham, University of Nottingham, Malaysia, and the International Islamic University Malaysia, respected leaders, colleagues, and participants. On behalf of UiTM Global University Technology Mara, I am honored to welcome all of you to the Women Leadership webinar entitled Leading with Impact, Governance, Mentorship, and Internationalization for Future Women Leaders. This webinar is organized by UiTM Global and supported by the British Council Malaysia under the UK Malaysia University Consortium grant. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us this morning and for being part for this meaningful conversation on leadership, mentorship, and global engagement. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today's webinar, it is not just about leadership in position. It is about
God po, sir.
leadership in impact.
Speaking of
In an increasingly complex and interconnected world, women leaders are no longer us, all of us, only to lead team or institution. We are asked to govern with integrity, mentor with purpose, and lead across border with confidence. Governance, build trust. Mentorship, multiples. The leaderships and internationalization expand influence beyond geography. So for future women leaders, these three elements are not separate, they are deeply connected. So when we combine, they shape leaders who are not only capable, but credible, resilient, and globally relevant. So this session invites us to reflect, learn, and be inspired, not just to lead effectively, but to lead with impact. Ladies and gentlemen, to officially open this webinar, it is my honor to invite our respected leader to deliver the opening and welcoming remarks. Following the welcoming address, Datin will also kindly introduce and read the profile of our keynote speaker before the keynote session begins. May I now invite Associate Professor Datin Dr. Norazida Muhammad, Assistant Vice Chancellor, International University Technology Mara, to deliver the welcoming remarks and introduce our keynote speaker. Datin, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Farah Shafira.
distinguished speaker, Honorable Datuk Nur Asni Ayub, distinguished members of the organizing committee, esteemed members of the UK-Malaysia University Consortium, respected representative from PTPTN Malaysia, distinguished participants from public and private universities in Malaysia, our colleagues from corporate office, as well as our international participants joining us today from Brunei, Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, Philippines, Cambodia, Myanmar, India, and also Maldives. A very good morning and a very warm welcome to everyone joining us today. It's truly a pleasure to see such a strong and diverse group of participants with us, from academics, public servants, corporate leaders, researchers, students, and aspiring women leaders from Malaysia and across the region. Your presence indeed reflects a shared commitment to leadership that is purposeful, ethical, and globally relevant. This webinar is jointly organized by UiTM Global, University Technology Mara, in collaboration with our valued partner, UK-Malaysia Council, and is supported under the UK-Malaysia University Consortium grant with the British Council Malaysia. This collaboration reflects a long-standing belief we hold at UiTM that meaningful leadership development must be nurtured through strong international partnership and global perspective. The theme of today's webinar, Leading with Impact, Governance, Mentorship, and Internationalization, is both timely and necessary. Across sectors and institutions, women are increasingly stepping into leadership roles. Yet, leadership today is no longer defined by position alone. It's defined by governance with integrity, mentorship that lifts others, and the ability to engage confidently at the global level. These are not optional skills. They are essential capabilities for future leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, the objective of this webinar are therefore clear. First, to strengthen understanding of effective governance, how values, accountabilities, and decision-making shape trust and performance in organization. Second, to explore mentorship as a leadership responsibility. It's not just a personal advantage, but how leaders intentionally develop others and build sustainable talent pipelines. And third, to highlight the importance of internationalization and global engagement, particularly for women leaders who must navigate increasingly complex, borderless professional environment. The strong response to this webinar, with a majority from the education sector, but also strong representation from government and industry, confirm that these issues resonate deeply with our community. We are indeed honored today to have with us a speaker whose professional journey embodies the very principle we are here to discuss. Ladies and gentlemen, Datuk Nur Asni Ayub is a distinguished corporate leader with more than 35 years of leadership experience in Malaysia's financial and public sector. She previously served as Chief Operating Officer of Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, where she led large-scale operational transformation, strengthened governance system, championed digital readiness, and delivered measurable performance improvement at national level. I have known Datuk Nur Asni for some time, and I'm truly impressed by her achievement. She's an exceptional woman and honestly someone I aspire to be like. Beyond executive leadership, Datuk Nur Asni currently serves as chairman of the Risk Committee of PT-PTN, sits on multiple boards, and contribute actively to governance, mentoring, and institutional leadership development. Her career is also marked by a significant national recognition, including state honours conferred in acknowledgement of her service and leadership. What makes Datuk Nur Asni's perspective particularly valuable is not only her success, but her ability to translate experience into wisdom and to speak candidly about leadership decision, challenges, accountability, and the human decision of leading organization. We are confident that today's session will offer practical insight, grounded lesson, and thoughtful reflection that participants can carry back into their own institution, careers, and leadership journey. On that note, once again, I warmly welcome all participants and I invite you to engage actively, listen with purpose, reflect honestly, and take from this session ideas that will strengthen your own leadership impact. And it's now my great honor to invite Datuk Nur Asni Ayub to deliver her keynote session. Datuk, the virtual floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Member Bahagia, Associate Professor Datin Dr. Azida, Chair of today's Women Leadership Webinar, and Assistant Vice Chancellor International of University Technology Mara, for the warm introduction. I think it's more than what is supposed to be done, recognized to me. Thank you very much, Datin. Distinguished members of the organizing committee, esteemed members of UK Malaysia University Consortium, fellow colleagues from PT-PTN Malaysia, distinguished participants from UITM, UIM, and UMK, colleagues from corporate office, as well as our international participants joining us today from, I was surprised that there's 10 countries that's joining us this morning. The Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, Brunei, Maldives, Cambodia, India, and Myanmar. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today, for this webinar session. Well, I'm joining you today live from PT-PTN Studio. It's a National Higher Education Fund, Malaysia studio in Kuala Lumpur. It's truly a pleasure to welcome all of you to this Women Leadership Webinar, which brings together a diverse community of leaders, academics, and professionals across the region. First of all, I would like to thank UITM Global, University Technology Mara for the invitation, and the UK Malaysia University Consortium for making this program. Initiative like this truly matters, especially as a time when conversations about women and leadership need to be moved beyond slogans and become real in practical and honest. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I also love to talk about this topic because it's actually very close to me. I've been in the industry for more than 35 years. And as you all know, being a woman, it's just not easy to be a leader. Okay, so today I hope I can share some of the insight being a woman leader in the industry, especially when the industry that is controlled by men. Yeah, I'm sorry, I understand there's a few percentage of men in this session. So, just hear me out, yeah, guys. Let us just talk fairly to today's topic as a woman leaders. Well, it is about governance, mentorship, and international exposure, things I have learned, and sometimes the hard way throughout my own journey. I have to admit, it's actually not easy journey for me when first I started, being a junior officer. I think, as all of you know, we all have to start somewhere before we can actually move up being a leader. So today, I'm not here to just impress you. I'm here to be honest with you, to share lessons from the journey that has been very, the success, there's mistakes that I've made, the challenges, the moments of doubt. And I hope that by end of this session, you will walk away with a renewed sense of your own leadership potential. Because leadership without impact is just a position, but leadership with impact, it changes the system, it changes people, and sometimes it can change the history of that particular organization. Why I'm saying that it's all up to the leader, whether they want to make it better or they want to maintain as it is, or it can want to create a history. So governance is also about trust. The trust that system works, trust the decisions are being fair, trust that leaders will do the right thing, especially when no one is watching. When you're a leader, you think that you can make a decision, you can call whatever you think is right for you, but that's not all as a leader. So that is one item that I would like to emphasize to the future leaders. So as a chief operating officer in the Islamic Bank before, I was responsible for nationwide operations, branches, digital platforms, service delivery, risk control, and also transformation turnaround. Because when I joined the bank, there's a lot of changes that need to be done to bring back the bank as one of the largest Islamic bank in Malaysia. So, and I'm being the first lady CEO of that Islamic bank. So you can see it's not easy. It's not just a title that I've been given, but it's something very high responsibility to bring the bank to the next level. So this happens because governance was not treated as a checklist, but as a culture. It might be helpful if I explain this from a theoretical perspective, but in a way that is simple and easy to understand. When we talk about governance in theory, it is often defined as a system by which organizations are erected or controlled. That sounds very technical, but in real life, governance is just much simpler than that. Governance is about how decisions are made, who makes the decision, and how does decision affect the people. So ladies and gentlemen, when we make a certain decision, being a leader, there's only just not making decisions and get it done. It's not as easy as that. To me, based on my experience, it really an impact to people. When we make a decision, we have to be sensitive to people because I believe as a leader, people is an asset to an organization. So many leaders today may fail to acknowledge that, but I'm happy to share with you today so that all of you today here will be the next leader who is sensitive and value the asset of the organization, which is people. So without people, you cannot do or you cannot implement what is your strategy, how you want to get it done, and how you're going to change the way how we do things. So all its core governance are rest in a few basic principles. Accountability. Who is responsible when something goes wrong? Transparency. Can decisions be explained openly and honestly? Integrity. This is very important. Are decisions made for the right reasons, not for personal gain? Oversight. Is there a system to check and balance power? So these are the few points being a leader that you need to have with you before you even step up as a true leader. So if you think about it, governance exists everywhere. In a university, governance is how principles are approved, how policies are approved, how funds are managed, and how academic standards are protected. As in public sector, governance determines how public money is spent, how trust is maintained. So in the private sector, governance protects organization from failure, misconduct, and reputational damage. But here is the most important thing I want you to remember. Governance is not about rule on paper. It is about behavior in practice. You can have the best policies in the world, but without ethical leadership, governance fails. Same thing I used to share with my final year students in some universities. I used to tell them having straight A's or dean's list does not make you a good leader. If you don't have all these X factors that we're going to deliberate this morning, it may not be a total factors that you need, but maybe it can help you in certain way to prepare yourself to be ready to be an effective leader and impactful. So when you hear the word of governance, don't think of it as that is something a distance or complicated. Think of it as a tool that allows leaders to protect institutions, earn trust, and create sustainable impact. That is what governance look like in theory, and that is what it means in real life. To bring the young woman here, well, to all the young women here today, if you want to lead with impact, learn governance early, not to control people, but to protect integrity and have value the asset, as I mentioned earlier, value the asset of the organization, which is people. So the second point that I'm trying to share with you today is breaking the barriers. Well, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about women leaders breaking barriers, we are not talking about being a louder or trying to fit into someone else's definition of leadership. We are talking about courage, the courage to walk into the rooms where no one looks like you, where you to make a decision when the stakes are high, and to maintain steady when your competence is quite questioned. So I used to walk into a room where 99% are men. And the first time I walked in as a CEO of Islamic Bank, I was telling myself, can I do this? Can I make the change in what they used to do and what they used to think about a woman leader? So I still remember moments early in that moment when I was the only woman. And sometimes I wonder whether I was there to contribute or just to make the room look more balanced, Sometimes they always believe, another woman came in, it's just part of the team. So I believe, of course, every woman that walks into a room being the minority, you will feel this way. So when every time one woman crosses that barrier, she does not walk alone. She creates space for others to stand, to speak, and to lead with confidence. That is how real leadership is built, not through titles, but through encourage and responsibility. So when I accepted the job, I'm telling myself, I'm going to do it. I know I'm going to be the minority. I know I'm going to create the history of being the first lady CEO of Islamic Bank. So I take that challenge. So ladies, I think this is an important point for you to strengthen your power and your encouragement to be there and to be successful and to make an impact. So I would like to share something personal. When I first and the only Bumiputra woman branch manager appointed by Public Bank, one of the largest commercial bank, majority is actually non-Bumi who is heading the bank, and majority are men at that time. So I was the first appointed, and I felt, scared. I felt, can I be success in this job? But anyway, that is, for me, success, there were no templates to success, no diversity policies, and no mentoring circles. There was only performance and courage. And being the first is never comfortable, and you are watched more closely. Your mistakes are remembered longer. Your success is something that they can question you, but here is the lesson. When the door is open, you are not walking alone. Remember that. You are carrying others with you. You are carrying your staff who's reporting to you. You actually carrying the organization with you. So every woman who breaks a barrier that carries a responsibility is not just ambition. So personal experience from both conventional bank and Islamic bank, when I moved into this bank to Islamic bank, it didn't take long to me to sense the culture change. There was unease, a quiet uncertainty, confidence had been shaken, even if no one said it openly. So it's all in you at that time to be ready for that as a leadership slot, So the numbers were worrying to me, yes, but what stayed with me then was the atmosphere. I remember thinking, this is not the moment for big promise or polished speeches. This is the moment of having all the answers. It's about being present. So we talked many times. We listened. I actually went down to the ground, listened to the ground, what went wrong before, and what are they expecting to see from the new leadership. So we explained, we showed up, and not only in boardrooms, but on the ground and meeting the people. That is very important to be an impactful leader. We should have an engagement with all levels. So ladies, are you okay? Are you following me? Yes?
Yes, Dato', yes.
Okay. So that continuous engagement, being visible, being consistent was part of how trust slowly began to return among the staff and the team. So that we got the team and we got the staff that's ready with us, with me as a new leader. So one part is settled. So the turnaround did not begin or happen overnight. But step by step, discipline brought stability. And stability brought back confidence. Quietly, through actions, not announcements. Only after that could we begin to talk about growth, innovation, and the future. Because recovery is not end of the journey. It's a second chance to do things better. So next, once that is done, comes mentorship. Leadership is not just a solo journey. Let me be very honest with you that no one succeeds alone. You need a team. You need the support, be it from the ground and from the top. Even though many success stories make it sound that way, behind every confident leader you see today is a journey filled with questions, filled with mistakes and moments of doubt. And you can't help it. Being a woman, sometimes there are moments where you feel that you are weakened because people are watching you. No matter how good you are, people still have doubt. Before you actually prove yourself, you can do better than the man. So how can you do better than the man? It's all knowledge and human touch, and you have to be firm. So behind every confident leader you see today is a journey filled with questions. So we have to handle that with positive mind. And in those moments, what often makes a difference is not talent, but people who took the time to guide, to correct, and sometimes simply remind us that we belong. So meaning what I'm saying here is we belong to the team. We belong to the organization. We are here to make it happen. So that's the difference. That's where mentorship comes. And that is why it plays a critical role in shaping women leaders who last, not just those who rise quickly. I don't believe, there's a shortcut in being a successful leader. You have to go through, the pain, the failure, the success. then you can be there for long, and you'll be there as a true leader. So throughout my career, I had mentors. Ladies and gentlemen, you need mentors. Some may be formal, many may not be informal. Some were kind, some were be demanding, and some were honest to the point of discomfort. I used to have mentor who threw files to me, but to me, I learned my lesson. Mentor or leaders, they don't behave without reasons. A good leaders and a good mentor would normally make you feel, giving you challenges for you to face all those difficult moments, because nothing comes easy to success. Today, as a board and chairman of risk committee at PTPTN, an adjunct professor and advisor to fintech and public institutions, and I also sit on the board of some public listed companies, mentorship has become a duty to me. I'm happy to always come forward whenever I've been requested to be mentor or sharing my pain and my success to where I am today. So I tell you, young leaders, do not wait to be ready to mentor. Start where you are. Always willing to share. Always look out for a better mentor than what you are today. Especially the young ones who is actually watching this webinar today. I think this is just a beginning for you. And it's not about mentorship. It's just not about seniority. It's about willing to guide. So, and for women leaders, especially, mentorship must be strategic, not just emotional support. Yeah, it actually comes together, support and mentorship. So we must mentor women to speak with clarity, knowledgeable, and understand systems. System here, I'm talking about the system of the organization. How is the protocol in terms of making decisions? Who makes decisions? What are your requirement that you need to consider before you do and you make any decisions that impact people, that impact the organization and impact the customer. So it's just not easy as, okay, I'm a leader, I'm a C-level of the company, I'm empowered to make a decision, I just make a decision. It's just not that, So it's more than that. So you have to understand the system, be sensitive, and make a right decision. So you read power dynamics, how power is used to influence behavior, how the power is used to make decision and relationship. Lead without apology, but with humanity. So that is what you call a leader and mentoring. So, and the next one, I'm talking about internationalization. Why global exposure is matters to leaders. Yes, you may have your own area that you think it's enough to be a good leader. No, it's not enough. With today's world, you have to actually look into cross boundary. Today's interconnected world, the leadership is no longer shaped only by local experience. Global exposure allows us to see beyond our familiar stuff, to understand different perspectives, and to benchmark ourselves against international standards. So today, for future women leaders, the exposure is not about leaving our identity behind, but about strengthening it so that we step into global space. We do so with confidence, credibility, and purpose. So global leadership is no longer optional. Whether you are an academician, a civil servant, or a corporate professional, your decisions are influenced by global standards, global risk, and global opportunities. Well, international exposures does not mean you're losing your identity. It means strengthening it. So, That is the difference between a local leader and a wholesome of a woman leader. So it has to be a local, as well as you have to have some experience, the exposure of the national, the way how they do things. In banking, fintech, and public institution, I saw firsthand how global best practice can be adapted, not copied or to serve as international priorities. That is why initiatives like this, UK, Malaysia community of practice matters. They create leaders who are globally aware, locally grounded, and ethically anchored. So leadership for women is actually not the hard truth. It's the hard truth, dear ladies. Let me be honest about leadership. Leadership, as inspiring as it sounds, also comes with hard truths that are rarely discussed openly. For women leaders, the journey is just not always fair, not always encouraging, and certainly not always comfortable. As I said earlier in my opening remarks, being a woman leader is not easy. It's just not walking into the boardroom or walking into a CEO's office, having big office, big table, and have a few thousand people looking up at you. There's always doubt from the ground when it comes to women leaders. Believe me, I've been there. Sometimes being a woman, you actually have a soft spot of you. I used to close my office door and I say, look, why am I here? I wanted to give up at time, but the mentor behind me keep me moving. You see, so the mentor is very important. You must find a mentor who not only mentor the way how you do things, but mentor how to make you strong so that you can cope with all this. People will think that they will beat you behind, like, excuse me for my word. They will say, oh, this woman, let's see how impact they get. What are the impact they can bring to organization? Okay. So we must always be better than the man. We must have better knowledge than the man so that you will have more confidence whatever comes. So that is my principle. People cannot challenge you when you have the knowledge of what you're doing. People just say, no, you are not doing things right. If you're not confident, you don't have enough knowledge, you tend to take a back seat. But being a CEO or COO of a big organization, you must take charge. You must know what your guys are doing. Yes, you can get some opinion, feedback, but at the end of the day, the decision is yours. So for you to make a good decision as a leader, you must have a knowledge. You must be sensitive to people around you, the system, because I used to see some leaders who sits there, when they climb up too fast, they don't have enough knowledge to actually be there, but out of, luck or whatever they are there. So ladies, please be ready before you take up the position. Leadership is just not always empowering. Sometimes it is a lonely thing. You will face moments where your competence is questioned. Your firmness is labeled as arrogant. Your compassion is seen as weakness. So it's very difficult being a woman, right? To be a leader. But believe me, as I said just now, you have to be strong. Sometimes you have to be stronger than men. And you must be smarter than men to be acknowledged by all the men around the table. Because when you open up your mouth to debate a certain thing, they can judge you whether are you talking just nonsense? Are you talking just theoretical? Or is it practical? So it's just not answering the question. It's just not challenging other people of your knowledge, but you talk with facts and you have to impress that you are a knowledgeable person. That's why you are there. You're not there because you want to be there, but you are there because you want to contribute to the organization and make changes. So leadership is just not gender. And it's just not values and integrity are not gendered too. So it's a free world. We can be there. We can be better than them. So what matters is consistency, courage, character, be fair and uphold the integrity. Yeah. So as I conclude, after all those, what you call lectures, yeah, I want to leave you with 3 commitments every future woman leaders must make. First, commit to governance. Know the rules, respect the system, protect the integrity when it costs you popularity. Sometimes when you ask to do certain things, you must always have behind your back. You must have a principle. You must have integrity in yourself. You know, yes, it can make people happy to do things which it is not your principle. But what happened to your organization? You compromise on your integrity. So that is something that I want to share with you. Okay. So commit to mentorship. Lift as you climb. Do not become successful and be silent and keep the knowledge to yourself. You know, so you have to share with the junior ones. You have to share with the staff so that they carry out the culture, the commitment, you know, and your leadership skills to bring forward in the next generation. And the third one, commit to global thinking. Think beyond borders, but serve with purpose. So, ladies and gentlemen, and all students, I understand that there are also some final year students of the universities. Your leadership journey today has already begun, whether you realize it or not. And to the academicians, you are shaping not just minds, but the future leaders. So I hope with today's, sharing, you will use this to drum into your students that, those 3 core things, integrity, mentorship, nationalization, and knowledge is a core thing to have to be a successful leader. And to the public and private sector professionals, your influence reaches further than your description. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you are not here by chance, you are here today by capability, and your impact, if you choose, it will be a lasting one. And if today you live with one thought, let it be this: you are more ready than you think. Thank you for allowing me to share my journey with you. May you lead with courage, wisdom, impact, and success. So I wish all the ladies out there all the best, and I hope you get some of the core points that can bring you back to this morning and lead the organization where you are and be a good leader with integrity. Thank you so much. Back to you, Doc. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Dato, for such an insightful and honest sharing. So, ladies and gentlemen, for today's session, we are reminded that leadership is not about position, but about impact. So, from what Dato has said just now, Dato clearly highlighted there are 3 powerful messages for all of us. So, firstly, is on about governance. So, governance is about trust, about the behavior, the integrity, not just rules on paper. Secondly, probably we can quote about mentorship. So mentorship is a responsibility. It is not a privilege. And leadership is never a solo journey. And finally, internationalization strengthened our leadership by expanding the perspective, the confidence, and the global relevance. Most importantly,
I would like to just add on. Being a leader is also not easy because as a woman, we are mother, we are sister, and we are a wife. So that is another area that all of us leaders have to put in the sacrifice. Without sacrifice, you can't be where you want to be. I always share with because I myself, when I started my journey, I had 3 young children. I got to take care of them, got to see their school. At the same time, I go to the office with all the stress at home. So what I do was, I just want to remind all of you women, throw your stress at the door of as you leave your house. And when you step in the office, you just focus on your office. Because I noticed some of the women, it's not because they're no good, because they could not segregate the personal issues at home and the issues in the office. So that's the reason why some people will just say when woman gets moody in the office, they just say, It's either they have that monthly thing or they are fighting with the husbands. So let us not make that, label to all the leaders, women leaders here. So to me, I would love to share this. And this is very important, ladies. Be professional if once you see in as a leader. Yeah. Don't just take the whatever at home. It's part of your problem that you bring to the office. I used to tell my own staff when they come in and they're moody and I said, hey, hello, can you please put that behind the door and move on? So that is also part of the mentorship. It's not that I don't have problem. I do. But people don't know that we have problem when you are in the office. So that's something that I want to share that I forgot. Okay.
Thank you so much, Dato'.
Yeah.
But I like the last one, Dato', where you reminds us that women leaders do not need permission to lead, but we need to prepare the preparation, the courage, and the character
Yes.
to lead with impact. That one is very powerful, Dato'.
Yeah,
Thank you so
exactly,
much.
exactly. Yeah. And you have to be prepared to be a leader.
Mm,
At one time I was asked to take a high position that at that time telling myself, am I ready?
mm,
Women, ladies, if you are not ready, don't worry. There'll be another chance once you are ready. So just don't grab it where you're not ready because that is a sign of failure.
mm.
Because I notice some ladies, they may not cover the overall knowledge, but because they're given a certain position at that time, they just grab it. And what happened? They won't be there for long. That's what I said in the earlier thing. You want to be a leader to last, not to be there just for short period. Because once you are there just for a short period, for you to climb back, it's not easy because your reputation is only being, marked or not successful leader. So it's difficult. So I used to do that. I used compromise. Okay. So yeah.
All right. Thank you, Dato', for inspiring us to lead not only with competence, but
Yep.
purpose and integrity. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now move on to the Q&A session. Right. So this is an opportunity for all of you to engage directly with our speaker and reflect on how today's insight resonate with your own leadership journey. So participants, ladies and gentlemen, you are kindly invited to raise your hand or submit your question via the chat box down there. And inshallah, I will read out a few selected questions on your behalf. Anyone from the floor? Yes, I can see there's one hand there. Dr. Maisara, I guess. Can you introduce yourself?
Hello, Assalamualaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All
Waalaikumsalam.
right. Assalamualaikum, Dato'. Thank you so much for the wonderful sharing. There was one part early in your speech where you talk about governance, and you said that governance protects reputational damage. So I was wondering, because you also mentioned about how it's about behavior. Like for young women, what are certain things that we can do, especially early in our career, that can help protect us against this kind of reputational damage, and also, the kind of behavior that we should be doing?
Okay. Can I just briefly share with you? Yeah, what I mean there is, okay, when you are a leader, you'll be watched. So you'll be watched not only by your subordinates, but you're watched by people outside your organization. You're watched by your superior. You're watched by the board members. So when we talk about governance, you have to ensure that whatever you do, governance comes into play. So the governance here means you have to know about, are you doing a right thing? Are you actually doing this? And how does it impact the organization and impact your staff? Are you sensitive to the budget? Normally, when you talk about organization, talk about budget, so that it's a whole sum of decision making. So when you are a young leader, or rather the first time you sit on the chair, people are watching you all this. So the one mistake you make, they will already have one in their book and say, look, let's try another one. So if you keep on doing the same mistakes that you fail to see when you make a decision, you fail to see all these areas, your integrity, your knowledge. Because some people, yes, they make a decision, but people will say, that's not the way how we do things. The SOP is not being observed, and the risk is not being taken into consideration. So this is where I meant. So if you have all this, inshallah, people will have respect. May not be 100% yet because it's the first time. But if you continue to practice all these three areas, then inshallah, you'll be there, you'll be respected. Okay? All right. Did I answer you? Tak dengar.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
All
Right.
right. Thank you, Dato'. Is there any more from the floor? You can raise your hand and we can spotlight you. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, Madam JB, you would like to introduce yourself?
Assalamualaikum, Datuk, and a very good morning.
Morning.
Thank you very much for this insightful and sharing of experience. So actually, I have one question that I would love to hear based on your own experience. So Datuk, actually, you did mention that mentorship is not a solo journey, and that mentorship must be intentional. So for women who feel that they do not have the access to mentors, what practical steps that you can advise to us? Thank you.
Okay. Well, I believe, can I get your name?
Okay, sorry, my name is Juliana Ibrahim.
Juliana.
Yeah, Dr. Ju.
Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Ju. Okay, Dr. Ju. Honestly, I don't believe there's no mentors. Okay. Whether you have found one or you overlook the one that is already around you. So so mentors, unless you have, okay, even it's not necessarily your immediate boss is your mentor. It's not necessarily your immediate people that around you is a mentor. It can be outside your industry. It can be not even within your group. Like myself. Yes, I started off by looking at the leaders in the industry, which is not in my industry, it's something that outside my industry, to see you follow through that particular leader's success and the way how they actually lead and what are the success that she have chosen or have contributed. So that can be a leader. You may not need to know her personally as a start, but to get a leader, it's just not straight away. You have to know when you need to talk to her. No, it's not necessary. Tak payah. So you just have to see how they do things. How is her or his journey? Even men, you can even be a man as a mentor in terms of how they do things, how they make a decision. Yeah, sometimes the decision that you feel that, oh, okay, they or she can even think outside the box, that you can't even imagine that the decision is made beyond what you even thought. So, Dr. Ju, I believe you do have mentor. Maybe today, tomorrow, you go back and look around you who can be a mentor in your industry or outside your industry. Because today we can be in academic sector. Maybe tomorrow you can be in financial institution, financial industry. So to me, the mentor is just not industry. The mentor is how to have you as a impactful leader. Yeah. So I'm sure you can even come to me.
Okay, sama.
Okay.
We would love to,
Okay.
Dato'. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dato'. Dato', we have one question from the chat box from Dr. Siti Suhana. How to overcome if the woman had good knowledge but lack of confidence to become a leader, Dato'?
Okay. To me, confidence, macam I kata tadi lah. Confidence is basically when you have knowledge. That is important. If you don't have knowledge, you're not prepared. Like, when you walk into a boardroom, you walk into a meeting room when majority are all men. Of course, you being one of the head of the division or whatever, the men will look at you and you feel that you are threatened. Am I confident enough to sit in this meeting to answer the questions confidently? So what it takes you to answer questions confidently is knowledge. Okay, I would like to remind, as a leader, you cannot be dependent 100% with your subordinates. You may have a smarter subordinate who knows more than you, but that does not mean that you are dependent 100% to your subordinate because you are seen to be a leader at that particular moment. So knowledge is one. So if you have knowledge, you can be confident and you have to prepare yourself to accept whatever questions, whatever complaints that people come to you or to your organization, you stand by it because you know what you're doing. You know how it's impact to your organization and to your people. So I believe you can be confident. Okay. Don't be scared. Don't be threatened. I used to be threatened a lot because they want your chair. You know, you just say, hey, I'm not giving out my chair easily. You know, I need to stand by my chair. And it's not easy for me to be here today. Have that in mind. And inshallah, you'll be there. I do that. I'm not that smart. I'm not a dean's list, you know. Maybe all of you, doctors, professors, you are smarter than me in terms of, you know, academic. But I have my self-confidence. I say, well, yeah, I may not be a straight A student, but I know what I'm doing because I learned from the scratch. Knowledge is important. Yeah. So it comes along with that leadership. But jangan pula ada knowledge, sombong pula. Orang kata apa? Bodoh sombong. Itu tak nak lah kan. So some leaders, they do have that. They feel arrogant. Ladies, please. Arrogant does not help you to be success. To succeed. So bear in mind. You can be humble. You can share your knowledge. You can even learn knowledge that you may not know from your subordinates. I used to share things like how to be a chief cashier in a bank. Actually, it's not my job. But I go down to chief cashier and I say, hey, hello, can I just do how to, calculate the cash? They train me. The end of the day, when I go at one level, I say, I know how the chief cashier works. So it does not matter if you have to go down and learn your clerical job. Then they respect you. That's what I did. So that's part of my journey too. I used to cry, because I don't know how to do a chief cashier job. And I was a branch manager. So when I start learning that, you are okay. So nobody can challenge you. Even your clerk cannot challenge you or your boss cannot challenge you. So that's my secret. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
we got a secret today. Thank you so much, Dato, for the tips. Okay, I think we have one hand there from Dr. Suzy. Dr. Suzy Haq. Dr. Suzy, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Dr. Anne, thank you. Assalamualaikum. I'm Dr. Suzy from UiTM Global. I have one question. And Datuk, you shared a powerful moment about being the only woman at the table and wondering whether you were there to contribute or simply to balance the room. How did you personally deal with self-doubt in those moments? That's all.
Okay. To me, when I enter the room, I never say that I just want to balance the numbers. I'm always, to me, every time I enter a room, and most of the time I'm just a minority, I always tell myself, I'm going to contribute. I'm going to share, my knowledge that I have, to be effective and to tell them that I know what I'm doing. So, when you start answering that kind of questions with confidence, and you will delete all the negative perception that they have on you. One time they can try, then the first try, they fail. So they never dare to ask questions that sometimes it can be backfire to them. I used to do that, because people that question you, I know they may not, they don't have the enough knowledge to even challenge me with areas that I know. So here again, knowledge. So if you walk into the meeting room or boardroom with knowledge, you don't have to be fear. No fear. Even if you're a woman, so what? You know what I mean? They always say, if Dato' Anne don't talk in the boardroom, something is not right. That's what my chairman used to tell me, So that shows what? That shows because you're always on the ground. You know what's happening, and you know what is the SOP all about, and whether you need to change the current things that we are doing today. Like I said earlier, we as a leader, not to just follow the way how we used to do 20 years ago. You are the new leader. You need to change to a better, okay? Not just to scrape the good ones and do the, worse than what you used to do. No, you are there to make a change. You dare to make everybody feel that you are a true leader that make changes. Yeah? Thanks.
All right, Dato. This
Yeah.
one is very interesting. It is in the chat box. I think everybody are facing the same problem. Okay, this is from Madam Nina Lin. Good morning, Dato. I am interested in what you say, especially about being strict in not bring it home, not bring it office work home. So how do we as a woman manage our time, especially when we sometimes feel that 24 hours is not enough? Yes. Right, 24 hours is always not enough. So do you have any additional tips to share with us?
Okay. Just now I'm talking about not bringing the domestic issues into the office. Bringing work to home, I used to do that too. But there's always ways how to balance your life, your family life, and your work life. Sometimes being a leader, of course, being 7, 8 hours in the office may not be enough. So it's also something that you need to bring some back to the house. But I am telling you this: settle your domestic front before you even look into your office matters that it needs your attention for the first thing in the morning. So I'm not saying that you cannot bring home. You can, but you balance your family life and your job. But bringing the domestic affairs to the office is no. But the reverse, yes, because I'm also a workaholic. I used to do work even past midnight after the children goes to bed. That was initial, stage when I first started, because I work 7 days a week, go down to the branches Saturday, Sunday, because some states, Saturday, Sunday, they work on Sunday, and in KL, we don't work on Sunday. So basically, to get things started and to show to your people that you mean business and you need to change. And, just to share with you, when I first stepped in, the Islamic bank and all that, because the culture is different from where I came from. I used to tell them from my first town hall, I said, if you can't follow me the way how I do things, you can jump from my boat. But if you think that you want to learn new things, you are welcome to be in my boat. We sing together, we rise together. So they get that message. So they're monitoring me from day one. So ladies, gentlemen, you can also use that concept, because when you first step in the office, everybody's watching you. So you have to tell them what's your objective, what type of person you are. You can be firm, but it's not that, you're firm for no reason. You're not arrogant. You can be firm in your decision. You can be firm what you want to achieve. Yes, ladies? Thanks.
All right, Dato. I think maybe we can get one final question. I
Yeah.
can see a hand from Dr. Shirin. Dr. Shirin, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Mhm.
Assalamualaikum, Dato. Thank you
Assalam.
for the very inspiring talk. My name is Shirina from UiTM Global. I have
Okay.
one particular question. Like just now, you mentioned something about how global exposure is very important and it's like no longer optional for future leaders. So for
Yep.
those who have not yet, the international exposures and or opportunities, I wonder how can they start developing this global mindset?
Okay. To me, locally, we are very familiar with our own boundary. So now the only the first easier thing to achieve the global exposure is by your organization sending you for training abroad. Meaning if you're a digital person, for us now AI, yes, we are starting AI, but other countries, it's more advanced than us. So I've I came across that even ourselves today, we're also looking across to send people for exposure by training. Or we use our expatriate trainer to come and share with us. So that is one part of the internationalization, boundary, that not just local, but how they do things there. Same thing academic. What are the subjects that they teach overseas that may not have it today here? How does it impact the students' life? Because for us, we are very focused on academic, theory, but we sometimes fail to see the practical side,
Correct.
So as I said earlier, you can be a straight A student, but you may not be a good future leaders because you're so like robotic, you're
That's
like that. So, but overseas, even when you start at a younger age, sometimes you compare the education there and education in Malaysia. Our children are more focused like Singaporeans, they're more focused on academic, who can get straight A's, who can be number one,
Buy
every
the book and
semester.
everything.
Yeah. So they don't actually expose themselves and open up their mind to the outside world. So it's just not academic. It's just how you implement your academic into the theory. So, right now, we lose, we are beginning to lose respect among the younger generations to the older one. Why? I always tell this openly. Why? Because before, during my time in school, we have civic subject, how to respect the older, how to salam, when salam. Nowadays children, they salam, they use like that. They don't use, they really kiss their hand, but they just put at their forehead. So that is something that is not taught today. So example, I'm telling you. So, so in overseas, they like to balance between academic and sometimes sports. But now, I don't deny we are beginning to change our syllabus as well, right? So back to your question, training, get exposure from maybe another, a foreigner who is good, who has the name in certain areas that you do, that will help of also how you can share with, they can share with us how they do things, how they look at things. Using AI, for example, but sometimes get scared, using AI too much. But that does not allow us to lose our our own identity, being a Malaysian, being a Bumiputra, so you have to evaluate all those. So go for training, ask your organization to send you training and get what you call that posting. Sometimes they send you posting to overseas country, for maybe other universities, foreign universities. For the
Always
professors.
finding opportunities to go abroad.
Yes.
Expose
Yes. Like us for office, we go for internship, for students, send them for internship. Now I think the students are given internship to the finance industry, not only government sectors. So they expose to all this. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Dato'.
My pleasure.
Okay, thank you, Dato'. I think we have one hand. Yes, Aish from UNM, please. Question to Dato'.
Hi, Dr. Anne.
Hi.
Hi, Dato'. Thank you so much for the inspiring.
How you know I'm Dato' Anne?
No, just Dr. Anne. Thanking Dr. Anne, and I'm
Dato'
just
Anne.
acknowledging. Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much for the inspiring and insightful sharing.
My pleasure.
I think it's
Yeah.
very, very important for us to realize, what is the role that we play, not just in corporate and also at home. And I always believe one thing that I always practice since my 20s is that washing off my legs before entering into my house, because I don't want to bring the emotions and the struggles or problems. And at the same time, I think you beautifully mentioned that, we do bring work to home, but I think it is not just the paperwork. We bring the vision and the dream from house to work, and then from work to house, vice versa. I think that's totally fine, but not the problems. And I also read some of the comments that we as a women leader, we need to make sure that we are not threatening the man in the room. I think this is something that I'm actually observing. Probably you have seen that in your experience, where sometimes when they see strong women in the room, the man actually goes quiet as well. I think we also have to send a very strong message that we are not here to compete with men. We are complementing each other. We want to, like advocate for ourselves and also our members and so on, right? So I'm just going to ask you one question. I know there are so many questions being asked earlier. So what has been the most defining moment in your leadership journey that has reshaped how you lead today?
How to answer that? Well, over the journey, over the years, as you know, you see my journey, 3 decades of banking industry. And in banking industry, not many women, controlled by the men. But I don't deny there are times when sometimes we are too outspoken. People think that you want to overshadow them. But at the end of the day, there is always a way of how to manage that. Sometimes I fail. Sometimes I get the support. So that's normal. But the only secret that I have is the way how we express our point across. Don't step into people's area. Be tactful, so that you are seen to be part of the team and not trying to bring down anybody, which I know is very common. Not only women to be seen that trying to pull down the men. No, men will also do that. They want to be better than us as a woman leader, so they want to impress. But believe me, not 100% they can succeed that, because like I said just now, your knowledge is very important. People must acknowledge that you have a strong knowledge in what you are doing. If you are 50-50, that's where they kill you. You cannot deny people can just take opportunity to bring you down, or vice versa. They also see that, oh, this woman try to be funny, let's kill her. But at the end of the day, the way how you present yourself, the way how you mix around with your peers, that's important. Like I said, don't show the arrogant. That you don't be arrogant in what you are doing. Because when you show you're arrogant, people will challenge you one day quietly, which you may not know. You see, that's a danger. Yeah. But despite doing all this, well, you cannot help people with ill feelings. They cannot see you succeed being a woman. They don't trust you. But you can prove to them that you are better. You can be a good leader and you can be a good team worker. That's important. You have to impress that. I can't tell you A to Z how to do to be but that is the frame of it. Be a good team leader. Be a good leader to your subordinates, so that your subordinates will support you when there are times that people try to bring you down. I used to have that, and I'm blessed that I have my team supporting me, because they look at me, I'm a leader, that sometimes I am firm. They know. If you mention to this bank, who is that to end, they know they're scared of death when mention about my name. But they know they can learn a lot of things from me. We cannot be just, yes, ma'am, being nice, and at the end of the day, what do you look at? You have to be firm. I'm not telling you not to be nice, but you have to be firm. And you have to be realistic in what you do, so that they see you as a leader. It's very important. Yeah, leader is just not a transform overnight. It's over the years, the journey. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I agree with that, Dato, and I strongly believe that we need to also create the space for other women to rise. And I
Yes.
share with you quite a number of experiences, and I have a very powerful women team with me. And in fact, one of my colleagues came to my office yesterday, and she told me, Miss Ish, you remember somebody tried to do something to you some time back, but we stood together and we actually, defeated that. So it's like when I was driving back, I was even recalling that. I think it's very important for us to actually create other successful women as we rise up. Thank you
Yes.
so much, Dato. Thank you.
Yes. I mean, ladies, let us just work as a team. don't have the ill feelings if one of us goes higher or faster than us. Support them, and God bless. You will be given a chance. Eventually, if you're good, if you're sincere, if you are truly a leader, you'll be there. You don't have to put another one down to be there. I don't believe in that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we conclude today's webinar, we would like to invite everyone to participate in a group photo session with us. So kindly switch on your camera and make sure your video is visible on the screen. So we will give you a few seconds to prepare. So we have about 262 participants today. So we have few pages to snap. Are you ready? Okay, let me, hold on. Okay, on the count of 3, please smile for the camera. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm moving to the second page. You don't know you are from which and which. So keep smiling. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3 is 1, 2, 3 in bahasa. So I'm sharing with our friends from Philippines here. Okay, now moving to the third page. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, maintain. The fourth one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the final 2. Okay, ladies. 1, 2, 3. And final one. Okay. All right. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So before we officially close the session, we would appreciate your cooperation to complete the attendance feedback form. So the link to the form is already shared in the chat box. So your feedback, ladies and gentlemen, is very important for us to help UiTM Globals and our partners continuously improve future program, inshallah. So we kindly invite all participants to complete the form below before leaving the session. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, our sincere appreciation to Datuk Nurasni Ayub for her invaluable insight and inspiring session on her leadership. We learned mentorship today, governance, and internationalization. We also like to extend our heartfelt thanks to British Council Malaysia and our esteemed collaborators for making this webinar possible. Most importantly, thank you to all of you, all of the participants from 10 countries today for your active presence, engagement, and thoughtful reflection throughout today's session. We hope that today's webinar has not only inspired you, but also encouraged you to lead with purpose, integrity, and impact in your respective journey. With that, this Women Leadership webinar is now officially concluded. Thank you very much. Stay safe and have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dato' Ann, for a truly inspiring session.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Dato'.
Thank you so much, Dato'.